Content warning. The Adventures in HellwQrld podcast talks in depth about QAnon, which means we have to talk about all kinds of child abuse and violence against people. Listener discretion advised.
Hello, everybody. I am Mike Rains, a.k.a. Poker in Politics, and welcome to another episode of Adventures in HellwQrld. I am joined this week by Sarge.
A day late for reasons that are probably obvious if you have, a phone or the internet.
Yes, if you have access to the world, you know why we waited a day. And I'm also joined by the mysterious L.
And $1 short, my beautiful baby.
Yes.
That's Sarge and I's new hip hop duo, where he's day late and I'm $1 short.
The old-timey colloquialisms. That doesn't quite roll off the tongue that well, but it's still a work in progress for the band name.
We sound like the Beastie Boys, which means it will be easy for us to do, and we'll get over.
Yes. That's what it's all about.
And that is what it's all about. I mean, doing minimal effort and getting maximum reward. God, the American dream. In fact, just earlier today, we were talking about how, when our grandparents talked about the American dream, they were like, yo, work at an office, bring my briefcase home, wife has dinner on the table, I can afford a house and support a family of 2 or 3 kids, or 2 kids and a dog.
2.5.
And then we were discussing earlier how my American dream is having a ceiling panel fall on me at a Walmart. Preferably while somebody is recording a TikTok so that they catch it on film. So I can be I'm suing Walmart. And Walmart has to pay me, settle out of court with me for $2 million. And I never have to. I'm just that was easy.
TikTok wanted to give me a passive income scam where you set up a fake bank account so that when robocallers call you, which is illegal, you give them the fake bank account so then you know who to send the lawsuit to. And then they all just settle immediately if you have their information. They're like, it's passive income. I know a guy who does it full time. He just waits for robocalls to roll in and gives them a fake bank account so you can get the information to serve them. And I was like, wow, what a country.
Yeah, I'm also just not convinced that that's true.
Yeah.
Although TikTok did serve me up the other day a heroic tale of a guy who invited all the billionaires he could find the information for to his wedding. Did you see this? Did you see this? Did you hear about this? Yeah, so he was just I can't remember if he had the idea, if he got it from somebody, but he's just I'm getting married. So I'm just going to invite every billionaire I could find the contact information from, because none of them are going to show up. But there's a chance that their assistant sees it and just gets me a gift out of obligation. And apparently, indeed, that is what has started happening. And a couple of people have apparently called him, a couple of these billionaires called him to wish him a happy wedding, because they just can't remember, because he'd been on the invitations, he'd be like, can't wait to see you guys again. And just send it out, and he's just yeah, I've been getting gift baskets and stuff. I'm hey man, that's a sweet hustle, but it's only going to work so many times.
Oh yeah, this is it. You're this mine is already tapped. This is the one guy that gets away with this. And then internet savvy assistants will be it's the billionaire wedding grift.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
or maybe billionaires are just the infinite pinata, because they have enough money and not enough time to care about that shit. And they're just whatever, send them a $200 bottle of wine. What do I care? I'm a billionaire.
On a completely different note, the building directly across from mine that's in my eye line, they're working on the roof. So out of the corner of my eye, I'm on the 3rd floor, but I keep seeing people moving by, and it is very weird. So I keep there's just guys working on the roof over there where I don't.
Wait, at some point, Mike and I are just going to see some sort of Japanese style ghost woman materializing behind you.
That's your millions right there. If we get actual ghosts on my webcam. Did you see it? Right there.
There's plenty of photographic evidence of ghosts, and if you choose not to believe it, that's your problem.
Number 5.
Have you ever seen a spirit orb, sir? What else could it possibly be besides a ghost?
I went to college for photography.
No other explanation. Did they give you a class on photographing the paranormal, where they're just yo, if you're in a dusty room with some light shafts in it and you manage to catch one of these spirit orbs, congratulations. You're a paranormal investigator. You've done it.
Yeah, we didn't cover paranormal photography, but we did cover common like errors you can make, like bouncing light off of dust. So
it's like whenever I see one of those photos from like 1960 or whatever, they're just like, dude, look at this photo. I mean, like the person in the foreground looks normal, but what's up with that weird looking person in the background who's like kind of semi-transparent? I'm just like, well, the photo's been double exposed. And they're just like, yeah, or it's a ghost. I'm just like, or it was double exposed, and that's like an actual other person, but just like barely exposed on the film.
The first photographer to really get into double exposures, he immediately started doing ghost photographs. Like,
oh, absolutely, dude.
We did study that. Like,
yeah, oh yeah. It'd be like if you were somehow the first person to invent like the like, you know, translucent fishing line. And then all of a sudden you're just like, I am the world's greatest and first telekinetic. Ooh.
Yeah.
Because, you know, why go legit? I mean,
oh, God. Getting people to buy into the supernatural is so much more lucrative than just trying to sell people on the usefulness of your invisible fishing line. Because what good is that when instead you can just make people believe you have magic powers?
Well, it's like you hear about these cats in like the 40s through the 60s or whatever, when they were just a bunch of like commercial good inventions coming out, like rapid fire, like, and a lot of them because there was just like a handful of these guys that would just like invent 60 things that are incredible over the time of their life. But, you know, like, the guy who invented the glue for sticky, like for you know, like sticky notes or whatever, like, dude, everybody on Earth uses those things now. I like, last time I checked, he didn't die the world's first trillionaire the way he should have, you know? Like, he probably got paid like $200 for that.
No, because he was working at 3M. I do love that story, because he was trying to make a super strong glue and ended up making a super weak glue and used it for Bible notes. And
yeah, but he was just a company man, though. He didn't get like Gazoinks Bo rich off of that like he should have.
Sure didn't.
Because if your American dream is inventing something that gets you like rich, then congratulations, that's never going to happen.
It's like Kodak inventing the first digital camera.
Well, there's a reality TV show where people who think they have good inventions have to go beg people that are already rich to give them money to make it a reality. They're like, please, God, please give me some money. Oh, my idea's so good. Please give me money. And they're like, nah, I'm going to pass. And everybody, and the viewers at home are like, yay, they crushed that person's dream because their invention was really dumb.
I've only seen clips of that show, and I think that's how it's going to stay. I did like the time an actual pyramid scheme guy tried to pitch it to them, and they all like smelled his grift immediately. Like,
my favorite one was the people who showed up and they were just like, yo, our invention is like, here's our pitch. We make this wine, and we figured out a way to can this wine so that we could serve this wine in can form at like sporting events. And the sharks were just like, bro, this wine canning technology is off the Chizards. We love this. This is going to be great. The wine tastes like piss. It's wretched. We want nothing to do with the wine. But we do want to buy your patent for this can. And they were just like, we're winemakers. No deal. And it's just like, okay, well, you just showed millions of people on TV like
that it's possible.
That there's a market for wine canning. So you know what you can go find it like out in the wilderness now is cans of wine. You can just go get cans of wine right now. So good for them. I don't know how much of that is their wretched piss wine, but having Mark Cuban or whatever drink your wine to just be like, this tastes like swill, but I love the can.
I just remember the time when some guy was like, my invention is a camera in your doorbell, and all the sharks were like, that's stupid, get fucked, moron.
Yeah, they're not right all the time.
Yeah, and then that guy just became a trillionaire, and he was like, oop, thank God the sharks didn't buy my idea. Thanks, sharks, you're the best.
It's like coming in second place in American Idol.
Yes, exactly.
You're just like, oh man, I missed out on my $100,000 recording contract where like Fox gets all the creative control. That you're just like, but instead somebody offered me a $400,000 recording contract where I get half creative control. So. Shucky darn, I guess I got second place.
Yeah.
I'll never sell as many albums as Taylor Hicks.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy to ask, but I couldn't name a single American Idol winner. Kelly Clarkson, right? She was
right. Yeah, she was the first.
There have been like one or two, right? Catherine McPhee, she was one of them.
Yeah.
And then, other ones, I'm sure, but none of them really ever truly mattered.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
get out of here.
I mean, like the person who's had the most success from being a singer from that show is Adam Lambert, and he didn't win, but he's now like touring with Queen. So I mean, like, good on him. So,
wow, unreal that you would promote such satanic music on this wholesome Christian podcast.
That's me. I'm kind of a monster that way.
Did you not know that the lead singer of Queen was mustachioed? Anyway, 10 minutes worth of vamping over. Let's get to our amuse-bouche.
It's time for a light sampling of insanity. Get ready for the amuse-bouche.
Let's talk about the sort of stuff that MTG likes to have on her lips. Specifically, chapstick. Yeah, I mean, this is a weird headline, or I guess bouche line for Mike to bring to the table, because we're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene chapstick?
Yeah. So what happened is Kevin McCarthy was doing a auction of some sort to generate funds for Republican House candidates, and people were bidding on various and sundry items that were being offered up in this thing. Like McCarthy would come and do a meet and greet, or this, that, the other thing. And then one of the items that got thrown into the auction was Kevin McCarthy's used chapstick. And so they put that on the docket, and then the bids came pouring in, and the winner of all the goods that included this used chapstick was Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was the winner of Kevin McCarthy's used chapstick, plus other accoutrements that were not reported on.
That's why it's the headline, because that was the weirdest thing in the file.
Because the other things were like, we don't care, but it was like, why the fuck did you throw a tube of used chapstick into the things that we were fighting over?
Marjorie Taylor Greene and Republicans launder money for campaign donations.
Yeah. So it was this but it was just so creepy and weird, and it made for an awesome, easy to dunk on headline against Marjorie Taylor Greene that everyone takes that opportunity. And because I have no compunction with dunking on her, fuck it. Why did you buy used chapstick? Who thought that was a good idea? Who was just sitting there going, we need another item to throw into the hopper to sell. Kevin McCarthy's used chapstick. Yes.
Well, I can think of at least one person who would be a fan of her making sure that her lips were unchapped and ready to rock. And that would be her pastor, correct? That's her, right? The one who's like currently cheating with her pastor? Is that some other lady?
I think it's her. I'm not. I know Boebert. The people are alleging that Boebert is also finalizing her divorce so she can get with a new guy.
Look, man, when I 10% remember a thing that's Q and J said, I need you to be there with the other 90%. This is your whole life. I play 3 different D&D games. I can't be this. That is my life. You talk to me about how many levels Spiros has. I'll give you his whole damn stat array for sure. But when it comes to who Marjorie Taylor Greene is cheating on her husband with, I can't keep it straight. I think it's a pastor. Yeah. He looks like a youth pastor. He's got big flowing hair. He looks like he's gonna pull out the acoustic at the sleepaway camp and really bum everybody out.
Yeah, not Trump with his tiny mushroom penis.
No.
Oh man,
but that was the idea.
How dare you invoke that horrible peen?
That was the idea there for a little while, that she was hooking up with Trump, or no, McCarthy. That was the rumor. That she
but were any of those rumors actually serious? I always just assumed that was blue anon nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
This other thing with her and her pastor seems like it had some real juice, or at the very least, the blue anon crowd was really loving it. They were just like, yeah. Marjorie Taylor's such a righteous Christian woman, am I right? And it's just finally a way to bring MTG down a peg. Yeah. Thank God. It finally happened. A way for us to talk some shit about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Got her.
I don't know why she had the gavel at the House meeting, but when she called for decorum, and literally the entire House burst out laughing and continued laughing for 30 seconds, that was fantastic. If you haven't watched that clip, I highly recommend it.
Yes, more people need to laugh at MTG. And actually, the pastor guy with the long hair is Boebert's side piece.
Boebert's side piece. See, this is why I need you.
Yes.
I need you to tell me who is cheating with whom. So I apologize to Marjorie Taylor Greene for saying that the chapstick was in preparation of your pastor. I don't know what sort of relationship you have to your pastor or to God. Maybe it involves used chapstick. Either way, you bought that used chapstick, so you should get right with God.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I that was definitely like, oh, we're selling something, so it gets around campaign finance limits. Yeah, okay.
I like to imagine that we don't have a huge listener base, but I like to imagine that there's just one listener who's always just like, Al, he's getting it wrong again. He doesn't know anything. And it's just like, yeah, you're totally right about that. I don't know anything.
Nailed
it's
it.
great. It's so great. You have no idea how angry I get at these bozos for posting QAnon related shit and not our podcast group chat. I'm just like, shut the fuck up about these clouds. Dude, I hate them so much.
Yeah, there's the story is basically that Boebert is denying that she's had a long-term affair with Sean Futch, who is a Christian pastor and may or may not be a white nationalist.
That's also one way to read that last name. It's not necessarily the pronunciation I would have gone for.
I did see that.
How would you say it? Because my name immediately goes to fucked or fooked. Right, because yes.
it's Fucht or something like that.
Yeah, it's Feutch.
Yeah, future fuck or whatever. Yeah, like anytime I read that name, it's just like youth pastor involved in like sex scandal or whatever, and then his name is like roughly adjacent to fuck. I'm like, yeah, okay. This guy's name is Pastor Fuck.
Yeah.
Because I am a child. Anyway, I propose to the group that there's no non-creepy reason for anybody to be buying anyone's used chapstick. So I think that we could all agree to put a button on this Bush item. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a confirmed creep, even if she is not confirmed cheating on her husband with her fucked pastor. Anyway, moving on to the Bush. Let's talk about some sedition sentences. Or sentencings, which is what I meant to say, but it came out as like a amalgamation of that in sentences. Anyway, the problem was because I was loading up the word Cyclops because our Cyclopean friend is the one who has been seditiously sentenced. Boom, nailed it. Look at me. And for more on this, I will go over to Mike. Mr. Mike Rains, what's going on with the Cyclops edition sentencing?
Our boy, the Cyclops, Stuart Rhodes, the man who dropped his gun and shot himself in his eye, and that is why he is the Cyclops now.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah,
and then he got cucked by Wolverine. Got him.
Yes. Yes.
He dropped his gun. So
Yep, that's what happened to him. He dropped his gun. Yep, it discharged, got him in the eye. And so our boy Stuart Rhodes. Now, the best part about this was basically the government. They're like, "Yo, government, what's your idea? What do you want for sentencing?" And the government lawyer's like, "Here is why we want the sentence to be the way it is." And then they bring up Stuart Rhodes, and they're like, "Yo, Stu, what do you have to say in your defense?" And he was just like, "I'm a political prisoner. This is a crock of shit." And he basically said everything you're not supposed to say in this situation. Like, no contrition, no remorse, no, just nope. These fucking fucks put me in jail, and it's a load of hooey. That's what I gotta say.
Yeah. And
the judge said, "Yeah, you get 18 years for what you've done," which is Stuart Rhodes is 57. So, and this is federal time, so you serve it. There's no you serve half of it, and you get off time for good behavior. No, federal jail is big boy jail. So he ain't seeing the light of day again until he's 75. If he makes it to that point. So congratulations, Elizabeth. And
yeah, he doesn't.
Now he just gets to be like health. King Klansman on cell block, whatever, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Prison is certainly where he belongs to be, in no great shakes. But you know, you'd really hope that maybe some people who were not white supremacists got to him before he got safe. I'm not wishing death or harm on the man. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes a prison does a thing. I'm allowed to say whatever I want on this comedy podcast. This is all parody. I hope they stab him to death with a knife made out of his mother's bones. Come at me.
Comedy podcast.
Bones is not where I expected that to go, but like I was here for it.
Jokes, all jokey jokes.
Yeah, this ain't no news. This ain't no news show. What, you think we got headlines? Get out of here.
We do, but we're commenting on them.
Yeah, we're talking metaphor. This is like when Alex Jones like, I want our enemies to be murdered politically. Just always has to throw in something after the fact to be like, I don't actually want you to kill people. Winky, winky.
I hope Stuart Rhodes is brutalized in prison with a whoopee cushion.
Yes.
By aliens.
Yeah. And Kelly Meggs, one of Stewart's buddies, also got 12 years today. So the sentences are rolling in for these dum-dums who are getting convicted of real crimes, which means
guy who put his feet up on a congressman's desk and was photographed got 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5 years. I hope it was worth it. Buddy.
Yeah, so all these dum-dums are getting nailed. I believe more sentences are coming down today for the people that were actually convicted of seditious conspiracy. So we are finally reaching the final stages of the finding out after the January 6th fucking around, which couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of seditionist traitors. And the best part about all of this is that now this shit with like Stewart Rhodes and so forth, this is going to be a part of the Republican primary because you're going to have DeSantis has already been questioned. And he's like, well, we're going to have to look over these cases and see where there was, judicial overreach and political weaponization. And maybe the power of the pardon will have to be used. No, fuck you. Yes or no? Are you going to pardon Stewart Rhodes? Answer the question. Answer the question, asshole. Like, what are you going to do? Because if you say yes, you're unelectable to the America. And if you say no, now Republican primary voters are not going to support you. So please let us know which seditious traitors you're willing to spring from prison once you become president, Mr. Republican president.
That's all the Ron you get until later. Save the Ron.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Ron's being saved. Yes. But yeah.
Keep your pants there, rock star.
Talk about this final item, because I don't know shit about this. The FBI how am I supposed to say that, El?
Well, it's literally just Q-vestigation.
Q-vestigation? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, if I had to say a Slycopian sedition sentences, certainly you could say Q-vestigation.
Q-vestigation. I thought about it too hard. I looked at it and I was like, how am I yeah, I got tripped over. So the
It's
FBI...
okay. It's giving Mike Raids time enough to research it in his phone, which we get the pleasure of watching. In media res.
No, I was going to look for the document itself, but the problem is the documents are very much redacted. But what happened was after a person who believed in QAnon freaked out and caused a standoff on the Hoover Dam in 2018, the FBI opened an investigation into Q, trying to. Then they were like basically like, well, who is this Q person? What is their deal? What's going on here?
What's their deal?
Yes, the Steinfeld, yes. And they were trying to find out why this person pulled this shit on the Hoover Dam because it could lead to further frivolity. The problem with a lot of the documents is that they're very redacted. It is very hard to actually see where they were going with any of these things. And until these redactions are removed, we're not going to really have a lot of daylight on this. The one cool thing that is unredacted is in one of the documents, it states that the person that was in the Hoover Dam was involved in the cult called QAnon, which made me chuckle immensely when I read that, because it was just like, oh man, the people that are in when the people in QAnon read that, they're going to be super mad that they were called a cult by the FBI. The FBI was wondering if they could potentially charge Q with faking being a federal official. That was like the actual crime they were looking into when it came to actually accusing Q of a crime, because shit posting on 4chan is not illegal as of yet. So exactly what they could
and it turns out that the burden of proof for you, quote unquote, impersonating a government official probably extends a little more than just being like, I've got Q level clearance. And Hillary Clinton's going to be in irons any day now for face carving. You just can't wait. It's going to happen any minute now. Her passport's already been seized. She's already been held up at the airport. She's going to get arrested any time now. In fact, I think it's going to be tomorrow at 3 p.m. And then Q got over that shit real quick.
Yeah.
It could be any minute now. Nobody can stop what is eventually coming.
Oh God!
He stopped making definitive predictions, but he didn't.
No.
They just there were just more vague ones as well.
Well, he said he stopped giving like definitive time frames.
Yeah,
he would still assure you that Huma's laptop was going to cause the fall of the Clintons, but he would no longer say at 5 p.m. on Friday. Like the first few Q posts, he's pretty specific with the times. He's just like, within 24 hours, everyone's going to be dead, and it's just like nobody is dead.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the big thing about this is that the investigation was opened and then it was closed. It was closed in 2019, and it was pretty half-assed. Most people are speculating that because there was no actual way to discern that Q had made any money off of QAnon, that impersonating a government official, that didn't lead to any sort of criminess, because generally speaking, that's how these people operate, where you claim to be an immigration officer and you're going to get deported if you don't dole out the cash to me, or I am an FBI agent, and if you don't pay me money, I'm going to let this warrant on you go through, et cetera, et cetera. So because they couldn't find any way to discern that Q had made a buck off of QAnon, the thing went away. And that is what the rational people who are looking at this shit have to think about it. The irrational people are looking at this and saying, oh, Michael Flynn was Q, and Barr and Trump shut this investigation down to protect their boy. We know the score. We know what's going on. So,
and that's the truth. Mic drop. Podcast over. Thanks for listening.
L is our official envoy to Stewanon, because L is actually fully pilled in stew. He is 100% on.
Oh yeah. L definitely doesn't think that guy is a huge ding dong.
Yes,
I wanted to use stronger terms there, but all the ones I could immediately think of seemed like they would get me in trouble for various ways.
Yeah, yeah.
But mostly because since I am an American, as far as people know, speak with an American accent, the assumption is that I'm an American. I can't really use the C word with the abandon I would like to. As an American who happens to be an Anglophile, thank you very much.
Yes. Yeah, so I saw immediately on the replies to the people posting about the FBI documents where people were like, it's because Flynn is Q and blah, blah, blah. And I posted a long thread about why Flynn isn't Q. And if you did what me and the gang here have done and read the early Q drops, and you see how contradictory, full of lies, and absolutely shitty they are, nobody trying to map out a years-long psyop.
Had to be that way, man. Had to be that way to throw you off the scent, you know?
Right, exactly.
And it worked so well that the scent was not thrown off. Tons of people think it's him. So no matter what way you want to spin it, you Q ding dogs, you're going to be wrong.
Yes.
No matter who wins, we win.
Damn right. That's why this podcast was made, so we can flaunt our smug superiority over everybody else.
It's going to be just like the 2024 presidential election. No matter who wins, we win. Am I right? Because it's going to be sleepy. It's going to be sleepy Yusef Biden versus somebody, and that somebody could be anybody. We'll get into this more as we segue seamlessly into Q's in the news.
From the digital headlines to the digital front lines, it's Q's in the news.
I don't know if any of you have heard of Twitter, but it's owned by a D-bag named Elon Musk. And that D-bag named Elon Musk tried and failed to host an online video sort of space with good old meatball Ron DeSantis, who has, in a shocking turn of events, decided to throw his hat in the ring as the Republican nominee for presidential candidate of 2024. What a twist. Nobody could have seen it coming. So let's toss it over to Mike Rains to get the temperature of Q's reaction to DeSantis putting up his dukes against old Donnie Two Scoops. Mike, tell us the measured QAnon response. I'm ready for measured. So measured.
Oh, it's so very measured. DeSantis is a traitor. He is deep state. He is a monster. He is everything that is bad and wrong in America. He's the most terrible. He's pretty much the most terrible human being who has ever lived. This is the funniest thing about all of this, is that DeSantis is trying to placate these people. He is so desperate to not offend them. And you can't do that. Once you've stepped to the God Emperor, you have achieved offense. There's no non-offending capabilities here. Yeah. Beyond the disaster of the Twitter space crashing repeatedly and the Elon having to fuck around and hit a million buttons and finally find a way to stabilize the goddamn feed so he could get DeSantis on to babble argle-bargle for an hour or so before logging off.
I think Grimes showed up and said some stuff, and everybody was like, shut the fuck up, Grimes. Nobody cares.
If only. That would have been the greatest thing ever. that was what everyone immediately laughed at, which was deserved. DeSantis dunking on DeSantis for the Twitter space crashing and all that shit going wrong was great. But the thing that was like so really noticeable about DeSantis's announcement, and this was a terrible, shitty, weak announcement, was that he avoided going after Trump. Like there was this like one very oblique part of this. There was basically there was one point where he was like, well, the national response to COVID wasn't that great, but Florida's response was so much better. And I did a bang up job on COVID, whereas other people not so much. But actually bringing up Trump and going at Trump was something he was so terrified of doing. It was really bizarre. Meanwhile, Trump was having a stroke on Truth Social and basically doing everything short of calling DeSantis a tiny-dicked child fucker. I mean, Trump was just whole hog going at DeSantis, screaming and yelling.
And that's like 2.5 inches worth of hog? I mean, we're talking some serious hog.
Oh man, we're packing. Between them, DeSantis and Donnie Two Scoops, they got some thunder in their briefs. That's pretty clear. And for anyone who's like, oh, you're being weird, let's not forget in the 2016 presidential election, Donald Trump was talking about how big his dingling was on the stage of Rubio and Cruz. He was letting everybody know, my opponents, not so much. Me, big one.
To those people, I would also like to say, these hypothetical audience members who are upset that we're making fun of Donald Trump's penis, is that I am obligated by my own personal code of honor to mention that Elon Musk has a wretched and deformed penis as well, and he has to pay me $1 million United States dollars to get me to stop publicly talking about how gross his cock is, because once again he claimed that a woman should have been able to ideate it like a photo lineup upon having seen it for however long it takes to totally not sexually assault a woman by flashing her.
Never did that.
No, and because it's true. It's fucking true. Yeah. He said it.
If you're a new listener to the show and you're just like, man, why is this guy suddenly going off so hard on Elon Musk's Phantom of the Opera like deformed penis? And I'm like, hey, he's the one who told me that his penis looks like the Toxic Avenger. And not the Toxic Avenger's penis. It looks like the whole guy. It's holding a mop and bucket and everything. It's fucking gross.
Yes.
Anyway, speaking of guys that are fucking gross, back to talking about Ron DeSantis, Meatball Ron DeSantis. He looks like a meatball, I guess. So what's going to happen to him the first time somebody confronts him about Donald Trump? Is his head going to bobble all the way off his neck? Is he going to die? Are we going to watch somebody catastrophically overload the first time they're confronted with even the tiniest amount of scrutiny? I mean, even George Santos just ignored his scrutiny until it finally got him landed in front of a court.
He has to summon human emotions and charisma, and man, I've done a fantastic job of ignoring Ron DeSantis, but every single time Mike sends us a clip or I'm forced to watch one, he just falls apart. He's just like the human mask strapped over his gator body starts to slip immediately.
He is very bad at retail politics, and the people that are leading him, the people that are running his campaign, have put him in this unwinnable position where they really think that it's okay to run a campaign where you're not going at Trump in order to win the Republican nomination. I honestly believe that these people think that there is an indictment coming down the pike that will be so damaging that it will actually derail Trump's campaign. And I think these people are wrong. I don't see how Trump voters will ever give the man up. That's the problem. And the real problem for DeSantis is are those people more than a majority of the Republican voter base? Because I think they are. So there's no magic indictment where literally, oh, here's a photo of Trump showing nuclear secrets to the Saudi royal family. Here's the Saudi royal family sliding a cartoon bag with a giant dollar sign on it across the desk to Trump. Here's Trump throwing the money in the air like some idiot.
Here's the two of them sharing a nice drink out of this hollowed out skull of Jamal Khashoggi, or if you pronounce that name.
Khashoggi, yes.
Here's Vladimir Putin declaring all of Trump's political enemies of Russia.
Right. Like there's nothing that can be done that's going to make Trump toxic to his fans. His fans love him. They're not going to abandon him for any reason. So welcome to the Frankenstein's monster you idiots have created, and good luck stopping him with an indictment. DeSantis is winning the Republican nomination only if Trump is dead. It is just that simple. There's no way he's getting around him unless he actually goes at Trump over Trump's big weakness, which is that Trump lost and that Trump is a loser. He's consistently lost. He's got many failed businesses, as anybody's brought up. The porn star that he paid off to not talk about their affair has claimed that his penis is small. There's footage of him failing to go up a ramp. Like, again, DeSantis. Like, I don't know who DeSantis' campaign manager is, but I should be empowered to fire that guy. Like, DeSantis only has one way to win, and he has to make that bobblehead work, but, like, aggressively, not in a blowjob sense. I don't want him to suck anybody off. I just want he needs to get aggressively bobbleheaded. Like somebody telling you very bad news, like in like a fish market or something. I want to see wildly gesticulating, flailing arms, legs, head, everything. To me, this is such an obvious and ridiculously easy thing to do. You're Ron DeSantis, and you get ready to give your big speech about how you're going to run for president, and you get in front of the cameras, and you say that Joe Biden sucks. He has the charisma of a turnip. And yet Joe Biden beat Donald Trump in a landslide the last time we had an election. And if we as Republicans nominate Donald Trump again, he will lose another landslide. He will drag the party down like an anchor. We will lose the House. Democrats will control the Senate. And then they will cram their woke agenda down our throats, and there'll be nothing to stop them. And if any of our very old Supreme Court justices die, the Democrats will replace them with far left radical judges. So we need a non-loser at the top of the ticket to make sure all that doesn't happen. And that's me, Ron DeSantis. Let's go. And the fact that I, a moron with a podcast, can say these things, and DeSantis's high-paid advisors can't think of it. He can't think of it. No one around him is saying this shit. I just don't get it. I can't wrap my head around what their strategy is other than just turning on CNN every day and praying it reads Trump rushed to hospital. I mean, that's it.
I mean, so like, you know, I say that this is DeSantis' only possible chance at victory, and I do stand by that. But I understand why they don't do that. Because in order to do that, you just have to come out and you have to be like, Trump lost clean. You know what I mean? Because like, if you're going to say that he lost, you can't keep towing his line that it was stolen from him, because like the point would be that he is weak and he is lost. So you have to come out and you have to be like, Trump lost cleanly. The democratic process worked. Donald Trump sucked so bad that he managed to lose an election to sleepy Joe Biden. Like Ron DeSantis would need to come out like with a PowerPoint presentation prepared, hit the first slide button, and it just says like President like Trump 2022 or whatever, Trump 2020, and it's just like, well, wouldn't that have been nice? But instead we got this. Click. Biden 2020. Boo, hiss. And it's just like, yeah, it turns out that is the way you should feel. Nobody likes a loser. And Donald Trump is a loser.
What has Ron said about the last election?
Oh, he's been very lily-livered about it. He's just sort of like, oh, maybe some stuff happened. I'm not, but I just know that I won my election. So, I mean, he wants to play it both ways. He wants to protect the integrity of his own crushing landslide reelection, but at the same time be like, oh, those wacky Democrats. And also he loves bringing up the fact that Florida runs really great elections. They do a bang-up job, and I know how to run an election, and I won it, so it's all great. So it's really a question of when he's going to get pushed on this shit about, so Ron, did Trump get jobbed in 2020? Like that. What El just said there is going to be another big moment where the old bobblehead's going to start weebling and wobbling when someone's just like, so Governor DeSantis, did Donald Trump get jobbed? Was the election stolen from him in 2020? And if so, if you're the Republican nominee, how do you prevent a theft from happening to you in 2024?
My God, he's going full fishmonger. All of his limbs and his neck all at once. Good old fishmonger, meatball, Ron DeSanctimonious.
Old fishball Ron.
Yeah, and now Trump is extra not going to come back onto Twitter, no matter how much Elon begs.
We're going to see, because everyone's talking about the fact that Trump's contract with Truth Social ends in June, and he's allowed to go on Twitter starting in June. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, in our zest for junking on DeSantis, we haven't even really touched on the fact that he teamed up with Elon Musk for this powerful announcement.
Oh yeah, so that was another part of this whole thing that was so sad. So the announcement was bad for not attacking Trump and other reasons, but one of the other things that was so poor about this announcement was that it was kind of like a press conference where a bunch of DeSantis fanboys just kind of asked him softball questions and got softball answers from him, and that was all really pathetic. And it was really the kind of thing that you do a month into your campaign. It's not what you do to start your campaign. Usually you start your campaign with a monologue where you just get out there, you give a speech, you explain your bold vision for how you're going to win the primary and the election, and then you have people question you and like flesh out your platform down the line. Someone asked him about like fucking Bitcoin and digital currencies from the federal government. This weird niche shit nobody cares about, and it was like, what the fuck? Why are we talking about this?
It does need to be dealt with.
But yeah,
but I don't need to ask Ron DeSantis about it because he's never going to get through the primary.
But also, it's like that should be one of the 50 most important fucking things that a president should be fucking dealing with. This was like what people don't remember. This is one of my favorite things that happened to poor old Mitt Romney. That video that came out where Romney was like 47% of Americans don't pay any taxes and are freeloader scum. That was the video that quote was the big thing that like people attacked Romney for calling half of America parasites. But there's this really funny bit later on where Romney's doing a meet and greet with all the fat cats that paid to talk to him. And this one guy was like, "Hey, Mitt Romney, I think you should campaign on abolishing the penny." And Romney was like, "Well, I don't know that really a lot of people care about that, but it's a thing I could look into once I'm president." And the guy was like, "No, motherfucker, the penny. I want you to go hard at the penny, goddammit." And you can just see Romney being like, "Bro, what the fuck? Why do you think this matters?"
An issue that does need to be dealt with, but not on the campaign trail.
But have you guys when was the last time you guys used a penny? You know,
I certainly pick them up. Like when I see them on the ground.
And all the day you had good luck.
Yeah. Yes. But only if they're face up.
Yes. I'm just imagining that guy watching the 2016 results roll in, and they're like, "Obama has won re-election," and that guy was like, told him to go for the fucking penny. Fucking didn't listen. Son of a bitch. I just love that. But the other problem with all these people asking these dumb questions to fucking DeSantis was they always preface their questions by being like, "Hey, Ron, thank you for having this Twitter space. And by the way, Elon, thank you for buying Twitter and taking away the power of the woke mob to be able to censor us and what you've done to make this platform a great place for free speech and allowing people to say what they want." And it's like,
and then now I'm going to say the N-word 48 times.
And DeSantis is just like bug-eyed, like, no, not on my announcement, please. But it's just,
you had to get the announcement to work first, as you mentioned briefly at the beginning. It was in a Twitter space that, like,
it took them like 8 minutes to get a functioning Twitter space. Like they kept logging on, crashing, and then finally, after like this interminable period of time, they finally got a stable Twitter space to work. And the DeSantis campaign is trying to spin it as Ron DeSantis broke the internet. His announcement was so powerful and so many people rushed to hear it that Twitter couldn't handle it. It's like, no, Twitter is just run by a skeleton crew. So now even the slightest bit of pressure on any of the pressure points of the site causes it to fail. That's on Elon. It's not because DeSantis is super popular or anything.
It's like that scene from Forrest Gump where he gets up to the podium at like the fucking pod in front of the monument, and This microphone just cuts out. It's like DeSantis is just like, thanks for having me on, Elon. A lot of people have been asking me how I feel about Donald Trump. So let me just go on the record. Then 8 minutes worth of silence as Twitter Spaces crash, and then he gets back up, and he's just like, I think that's the last I ever have to say about that, you know? And Elon's just like, good point. And then Grimes says something, everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Grimes. What the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here. Nobody gives a fuck what you have to say.
I'm thoroughly convinced that Meatball Ron is a lizard person, specifically a gator person wearing some sort of human skin, and does not.
This is the second time you brought that up, man, and they're like, I let it slide the
emotions.
first time, but that's really disrespectful to gator people. When I picture like a gator person, they're fucking cool. They look fucking rad.
Hey, listen, we all play Blood Bowl here. You know what a Croxagore looks like. They're awesome. Ron is not awesome.
No.
So, like,
you remember that X-Files episode about like the sideshow? Back when the episode aired, they called it a freak show. So I'm going to use that term here, but know that I will not be using that again. And there was that one performer who had a slightly smaller, grosser version of the self in their stomach. Ron DeSantis is that guy. He crawled out of a larger, cooler person a while ago.
Quado.
Yeah.
But one that could like get free. He like slithered out and got free, and then sort of like Jonas Venture Jr.'d it, but not in the cool way. Now he's Meatball Ron, and his head operates like a blow pop, even though he's not really blow pop shaped. His head's just got a mind of its own.
I went with the Florida connection of gators. He can be some other terrible lizard person.
Certainly, there's got to be something else that's awful that Florida has in abundance that we can compare Ron DeSantis to. I got it. He's a white guy.
Oh,
yeah, that's pretty rough.
It's not.
That's kind of hitting below the belt there, but like no white guy has ever been as cool as a Gator man, so I feel like we're in the clear here.
Yes.
Yeah, they just announced the Lizard Men for Blood Bowl 3, so
yeah.
we have to remind people frequently that we are sufficiently aware of and guilty of our whiteness. Not that I'm going to change anything. God, it's awesome, but
yes,
I am guilty about how awesome it is. I'm like,
yeah.
Like after you're done having sex with somebody that you know is way more attractive than you, you're just like, that was great, but I didn't really deserve that one. I don't know how that happened.
I'm basically responsible for every war, and if something's going wrong in your life, it's someone that looks is something like me has probably caused it.
Yeah. So a lot of people had fun about the whole space thing and it crashing. The Biden reelection campaign posted Biden's Twitter posted a thing that said this link works with a link to donate to the Biden reelection campaign.
Yeah.
Again, as I was mentioning, Trump losing his mind, just constantly posting shit talking DeSantis. At one point, he called him Rod DeSantis or Rob DeSantis, and then said that his button works just like he told Kim Jong-un that it did, unlike Rob's, whose button doesn't work. And then later on, the Trump campaign, who were incredibly proud of this, posted a video or an audio clip with some video on it to both the Trump Truth Social Trump account and to Trump's Instagram account, where there was a space with DeSantis, Elon Musk, Klaus Schwab, George Soros, Dick Cheney, Hitler, the devil, and the FBI were the 8 people in the space. And Dick Cheney was constantly coughing, which was making DeSantis very mad because he wasn't able to get his speech in. Eventually, the FBI was like, yo, guys, this is a public space. We can't talk about how we're going to take down Trump. We're out of here. And then the FBI left the space. DeSantis tried to get his speech in. They played some clips of Hitler screaming from Downfall. And then after DeSantis finally got his announcement in, Trump joined the room, talked some shit about the devil, talked some shit about Hitler, talked some shit about Dick Cheney, and then did the Trump 2024 thing. People are questioning if Trump actually used his own voice or if this was actually AI from his campaign that did the Trump WWE style promo for this thing. But the Trump people were very proud of their little vignette that they did.
Yeah.
And it just really, to me, it just heightened the fact that on the one side, you have Donald Trump claiming that his opponent is allied with Hitler, the devil, and Klaus Schwab and George Soros, aka the evil Jews. And on the other side, you have Ron DeSantis being like, Donald Trump, I don't know him. No further questions. And just running away, screaming, praying no one will ever talk to him about his opinions of Donald Trump ever again. It's just, it is.
He's term limited for being governor. Like, this is it. When he's done, he can't be governor of Florida again. So, his war with Disney will have ended. What will he have left? I don't think he can run for any other, like, I don't want to say lower office, because being a senator would be a pretty big deal, but I don't think he's got the juice to fight anyone else in Florida.
Maybe ignoring the existence of Donald Trump is his strategy. Maybe he will run for the nomination, and the entire time his strategy will just be like, I will not acknowledge that Donald Trump exists. That would be the ultimate power move. God, can you imagine how pissed off Trump would be?
Well, Trump wants a lot of people to ignore he exists right now. Like,
well, Trump would be okay with it up until the moment DeSantis actually started challenging him in the polls. The moment DeSantis became competitive, that would break Trump's brain if DeSantis pulled that off. But that requires DeSantis to actually not be polling at like 15%. So let's get those numbers up, DeSantis. These are rookie numbers. Let's go.
DeSantis needs to go to where Donald Trump is and give him the old Jenna Maroney, hi, nice to meet you. Go to shake his hand. Hi, nice to meet you. Like, is that like he has no fucking idea who he is?
Yes.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm presidential candidate, Mr. Meatball Ron DeSantis. How are you? Who are you again? Are you some sort of titan of industry or something? I don't recognize you. What a distinct quaff.
That would be great. Oh my god.
He needs to be like, the judge in Trump's case told me I'm not allowed to talk about him. That needs to be his play. Like,
that'd be so great. I'm not going to talk about.
He needs to be like, hey, Trump's wife told me not to talk about him, you know?
Hey,
I'm Ron DeSantis over here. I'm having sex with his wife and his daughter, you know? Hey,
the way he wishes he was having, yeah.
I'm Andrew DeSantis. Hey.
That's your TikTok. That's how we actually defeated capitalism and achieved the American dream. Andrew Dice DeSantis. That's the character. We create that character. We go viral with it. And it's like hot for like 5 months until he gets crushed in Iowa and New Hampshire, and then the character is dead as a doornail. But ride that rocket ship for the half year or so that we got it, because boy, that would be. It was like that lady who would do the videos where she would lip sync Trump and really like embellish it and sell it, and she like got gigs out of that shit. So
can you imagine the amount of denim vests I would have to wear? No, thank you.
At least 4.
A denim vest and like a bandana actually tied around my head? What are you, out of your fucking mind? Are you kidding me?
Do you know how much a Harley Davidson costs?
Especially one for my fat ass. It would need to be like a Harley Chariot. You know?
Yeah,
you get one of the big cruisers.
The Ben-Hur model of. Well, yeah, I'm certainly I'm not fatter than the fattest biker. Get out of here, but you know,
give yourself some credit.
Yeah, certainly I'm not fatter than the world's fattest biker. Call them Guinness. They're irrelevant, but they still keep track of some stuff. Hey, Guinness, who's the world's fattest biker?
Oh, God. That fucking crime racket that is the Guinness World Record Company. Oh, my God. That is a... If you want to talk about scams, that the world record thing, scam. It's all bullshit. Don't trust Guinness. They're full of lies and beer and beery lies.
Yeah, and also, I mean, just because something's a world record doesn't mean that it's cool or interesting.
Nope.
Like, I juggled the most, like, to Michael Jackson songs while walking backwards on a Tuesday. World record. It's just like, nobody cares about that. Shut up.
No one, fuck you.
How about world record for most heart surgeries performed? How about that record, huh? But most fourth graders taught. Let's do that one.
Yeah. Let's not get into relevancy here. God damn it. We're supposed to be all about the irrelevant shit. That's what America.
Or for our police officer friends out there, least minorities shot for no reason. Where's that medal?
Man. That should be like the thing when you retire. They give you like a medallion for like the unfired gun. You didn't discharge your gun in the line of duty in your entire career. It's almost impossible, but you pulled it off. Somehow you just didn't use your police murder rights to murder people.
Because progress is slow, for this reason we present to you the Gilded Noose. We take this with our compliments.
Yes. In the Army, every 2 or 3 years that you don't get disciplinary action taken against you, you get a good conduct medal, aka the good cookie. It's like one of the lowest medals awarded, but it still exists. Like, hey, you didn't get arrested or fucked up. Like, good job.
Literally from the people who brought to you the complaint about participation trophies comes a fucking military medal for just not fucking up. You didn't fuck up at all. Here's like a literal medal. Here's a literal military medal. Well done.
I just love the fact that it's called the good cookie.
That's also incredible. My God, that's so funny.
Good conduct medal, and I'm sure they still call it that, but when I was in, you would call it a good cookie. Like, here's your cookie. Like, it's the lowest military honor we could award you. You didn't fuck up.
In high school, we did a fun thing called Ookie Cookie, and that's when... Oh, sorry, we're running low on time, so let me move on to the next headline. I'll talk to you about the Ookie Cookie later. Actually, the next headline was just Trump stuff. I was trying to segue into a headline that doesn't exist because we just organically started talking about Donald Trump. So Ookie Cookie, you see. No, I guess in that case we could just segue into our wonderful mailbag segment.
No, we had a little more Trump because
you should have just fucking fired it off there, bud. We're 3 minutes from go time. How much Trump do we got?
We got about 3 minutes of Trump. We're good. So the Washington Post reported that Trump, the investigation into Trump has uncovered that apparently people were moving the boxes with the classified documents a day before the raid actually happened in Mar-a-Lago. And on top of that, apparently Trump had ordered his minions to conduct a quote-unquote dress rehearsal for how they would move these boxes should the need arise for them to move those boxes in the near future. So it's just one of those things where Donald Trump was just like, if we need to do some crimes in the near future, I would like you to do crime preparation to achieve criminess for me. I want maximum successful crime.
I can't believe you rescinded my segue to backtrack to talk about Donald Trump doing a thing that obviously, of course, he definitely did. Like, headline news: Donald Trump did not stop moving and looking at those documents when instructed to. When the government was like, Donald Trump, do not fuck with those documents, he did not go absolutely and stop. Like, of course he didn't. What? Is that even news? That would be like Donald Trump yelled at a waiter. Like, yeah. That's a headline news item. It doesn't happen 30 times a day. It's so obvious. In other news, shit still smells bad. It's not good. Not good in the nose.
No president ever committed crimes.
Yeah. He's just like the fact that, like, if you told Donald Trump like not to pick his nose and turned around for a second, his finger would be immediately up his nose. So just like the fact that it's just like, and in other news today, Donald Trump obviously didn't stop fucking with those documents. It's just like, yeah, of course he didn't. I never for a moment thought he did. It was like when I tragically heard about the passing of Tina Turner this week, which is a shame because she was like a real talent, but also at the same time, I thought that she had been dead for a long time already. I was just like, oh, I am just now finding out today that she was still alive and is now dead.
Yeah, and so the other thing that they came up with was that there's reports that he left those documents in his office where other people could view them, and that he would show those documents to people every so often.
Oh, well, there we go. That's the headline news right there. That's the one that that was something I never thought he was capable of. I thought he was keeping it close to the vest.
totally declassified documents.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh god.
Yeah,
Oh.
he looked upon them with his declasso vision, and at that point he could just start showing them to whoever he wanted to, like a collection of Pokemon cards.
Yes. Yeah.
He was like,
And
"Hey MBS, check a look at my Shadowless Charizard, and also nuclear secrets. You wouldn't believe our nuclear secrets. It's so huge."
And the thing that's like really weird about this that I saw from people that were talking about it on social media was the Washington Post is like, this is really good for the government's obstruction case, and people were like, no, this is an espionage case. This is the shit that we sent people that we sent the Rosenbergs. I can't remember the names, but like the people we sent to the chair for espionage acts. This is that shit. This is the actual big boy crimes where the death penalty gets put on the table because you're actually betraying the country.
No shot. Never happened. Huge nothing burger. Donald Trump inside of a prison, still no closer to being a reality. Like, are you guys kidding me? What sort of blue and eye shit is that? Oh my god, this is the thing that cracks it wide open. Donald Trump is going to get hung in front of from the gallows. We're going to do it. Real patriots in control. That's fucking maximum grade opium.
Yeah,
Literally never going to happen. You heard it here first. Donald Trump will never see the inside of a prison cell. He could beat a homeless man to death tonight and not get arrested and put in a prison cell.
He could maybe be convicted. I could see him getting convicted.
Oh, convicted, absolutely. Pay your $100,000 fine because you're a rich white guy and, pretty pinky swear promise that you're going to do some, like, community outreach or whatever. He's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. The next TV show I do, I'll just check the box that says this is community outreach. Boom, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not saying he's going to get the death penalty or anything. I'm just saying that like this is what the DeSantis and all these people who are hoping he'll go away. This is what they're hoping for, is that they can turn to the Republican primary voter and be like, look, these are really serious crimes. We're going to lose to Biden in a landslide if you vote for him. And those people are going to be like, fuck you, Trump 2024, MAGA, woo! Checking the box for Trump 3 times, voter fraud for the God Emperor.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hopium's going around someplace because, like, if those people didn't think that January 6th was treason, they're not going to think that anything was.
Right, exactly.
Like, when January 6th was literally Trump being like, hey, people that like me, go prevent the new president from being made official so that I may retain the presidency. Like, if that didn't move the fucking numbers in terms of whether or not people thought that Trump was guilty of sedition or treason or espionage, I don't think showing a document to a maid or whatever's going to get the job done. Hey, Consuelo, you want to see where our nukes are? Take a look at this. No, get out. I don't think you're a real person.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. That's the thing that I just think that anyone who thinks that they can just sort of push Trump out the door without confronting him for being a loser and the guy that got like raffle stomped by Sleepy Joe last time, they're deluding themselves, and it's truly sad. I mean, it's just you either run at Trump or you don't run at all. There's no middle ground here. There's no, we're going to kid glove Trump, and then the law, the legal system will take care of him for us. No, it won't. Even if a miracle happened and Trump was in jail before the election, he would run from jail and he would still get more votes than DeSantis. It's just, unless he's dead, he's beating DeSantis in the primary, period. That's it. You have no chance.
And in all of this talk, we haven't talked about how
you lose.
how effortlessly our strong, young, masculine president is just gonna totally destroy whoever they put up against them, because Dark Brandon, he's gonna emerge from his crevice and start getting stuff done again. Eventually, you'll see.
Yeah.
He's like the slacking of presidents, First 3 rounds, nothing, and then he wakes up and it's just like, oh my god, look at those stats. Then he goes back to sleep, and you're like, oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, now, sir, may I have a mailbag?
Yes, you may.
Our listeners got questions. We got answers. It's time for Q&A.
Cleodora Silvestri, the HellwQrld Grand Inquisitor, asks, within the QAnon timeline, at exactly what moment did Q go from being a simple whistleblower with high clearance to a prophetic time-traveling infallible messenger from God? That was mostly the Deltas. It's when the Deltas got transformed. Because originally the Deltas were the period of time between a Trump tweet and a Q drop. And this was something that QAnon would use to confirm that Trump and Q were working together and doing this weird thing where Q would be on his phone being like, hey, Don, about to hit send on a Q drop. And Trump was like, I got you, bro. About to hit send on a tweet. 3, 2, 1, boop. And then they'd high five each other and bro fist because the time between the two of them was like only 3 seconds or under a minute, and people got so hyped about that. Oh shit, a 1 minute delta, or oh my god, a 0 delta. And there's even, I don't know if he still has it, but Praying Medic had his bio information for the longest time was, quote, only here for the 0 deltas, because that shit really got QAnon's jimmies jangling. But then over time, the deltas became anniversaries. They became year deltas and 2-year deltas. And once you got into this period where people were like, oh my God, a 4-year delta. Q said this in 2018 and then it happened in 2022. That's when Q went from just being a guy who was like, yo, I work for Trump and I got the fucking hard-hitting intel for you, to I'm Q and now I'm a prophet of mystical powers. I can divine the future. So like Q in and of himself was never like an oracle of prophecy, but QAnon reinterpreted him that way as the initial prophecies failed and they needed the prophecies to be true. So they recontextualized everything as to being Q was saying these things and they're going to come true years down the line. Like they have a new deadline. I forget what the date it is. I think it's June 1st. I think Hillary's going to get arrested, and it's going to be like this weird 6-year delta from like the first drop, even though that was in October. I don't exactly know where they got June 1st from, but basically, as time has gone on and Q has failed, Q's power has only grown in the movement as what he actually is supposed to be. So that was the metamorphosis. The other metamorphosis that Q did was he went from insider with secret intel into Q was just telling us to think for ourselves, man. He was just waking us up and telling us to like think about the system and disrupt the matrix. It's like, no, he was telling you Hillary's going to get arrested tomorrow, and so was Huma and John Podesta. Like he was just giving you intel. He would tell you to think for yourself, but he'd only be telling you to do that so you'd hate Democrats and shit. That's one of the things that always makes me laugh so much about QAnon. They're like, oh, the only cult that tells you to think for yourself. It's like, I don't see you guys holding scholarly debates about shit. Like, you guys aren't actually discussing anything.
Yeah, what happens to the people who think for themselves and come back just being like, after doing a bunch of research, I believe that gender might be a spectrum?
Oh, yeah, fuck you, buddy. Oh, man, there are only 2 genders, and you're wrong if you think otherwise, you scum. And guess what gender Michelle Obama is? Ooh, hashtag Big Mike. Ooh.
Yeah, the only spectrum we want to see is that Good Doctor show.
Oh God. So that's basically the timeline of Q. Like the one thing that's really kind of funny is like the last Q drop was like the weirdest shit Q's ever kind of posted.
Yeah, we're not going to take it.
No, that was the one that was the last one for a long time. Then the Jim drops I'm talking about. Where
why are you talking about those?
Because
that would be like me talking about Thundercats Roar. Like, yeah, it's got the name on it, but everything else is different and bad.
Oh yeah, I understand. But I'm just saying that the last Jim drop was as weird and supernatural as Q ever got, because he was just like, "Who put the code in your DNA? What does it mean?" And it's like, what the fuck? You're supposed to be working with Trump. You're not supposed to be communing with God. What the fuck? And that's when Jim was just like, this Q shit's too hard for me, and he just quit. Just stopped doing it. So
he couldn't figure out how to run his own website.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. Kent Statnik asks, if you opened a Q-themed food truck, what would the cuisine and name be? And he says, Freddy Potatoes votes for BBQ.
Oh, it would... There'd be a lot of pizza. They talked about pizza quite a bit.
Q never talked about pizza, but Pizzagate was like the QAnon, so pizza is a big part of QAnon's lore. So absolutely, like.
Okay, so it's a pizza food truck called The Gate, and the logo is a round pie of pizza with the slice cut out where like the Q line would be for a Q, and it's just pulled slightly away from the pie, so that way the people who know are in the know.
I can accept that.
You have to do your own baking.
No.
You just have to do it. You just show up and they're like, do your own, make your own food, do your own baking.
My food truck is a breakfast food truck, and it's called The Great Awakening because I just do a great morning food for you. We got the morning breakfast burritos. We got the McMuffins.
No, we do not serve ethnic food at the Q food truck. Are you kidding me? Yeah, here's your Q burrito, right to go with your Q fucking tikka masala. And here's your Q bimbap. What are we talking about over here? White food for whites only at this Q truck, you know? I'm talking boiled chicken. I'm talking about unseasoned potatoes. I'm talking Indian food, British cuisine.
I'm sure QAnon dummies could convince themselves that tacos were not Mexican.
Yeah.
I think that since they're just immune to the idea of hypocrisy, they could just, eat an unlimited amount of burritos and be just satisfied with themselves. Just like, man, these burritos and tacos are great. I sure do love Mexican food.
Oh, God.
Man, can I re-roll and get that as like one of my perks, immune to the concept of irony, like it just or hypocrisy? It just like live life just like this blissful dum-dum.
Live, laugh, love.
Oh, it's what it's all about. Oh man, Snorlax. This is more of a comment, but Snorlax CPAP says L is taking one for the team with Bobert as a power move. Mr. L Bobert would give us the inside info and the pod power to influence policy change. So, like, are you ready to become a political insider with your relationship with Lauren Bobert?
So since I was tagged to this one, I actually saw that there was a follow-up question about what level of monstrous, like, is too much monstrous for what I would, I guess, like, hook up with. The problem with joking about this stuff is I don't want to go too hard into the paint talking about doing sex with anybody. It's kind of gross. So, like, we'll try to dance around it as best we can. I mean, look, what happens outside of the bedroom, it's not really my business. There's, I can move goalposts. That's what I learned from the QAnon movement. Move those goalposts. Move them around until you get what you want. So, maybe she's a 9, but her racism is a 10. Like, for a night? Maybe I'm just a Caucasian white male and I don't talk about stuff like that. If you think that all I will sell out for is money, then you are mostly right. But only because attractive women don't want to sleep with me. If I'm ever put in a situation where a 10 who, let's just say, doesn't like Jewish folks wants to sleep with me, I'll report back with whether or not my fortitude remains strong. I will say that I went on a terrible date with a woman, and like pretty much she said, and I quote, "I don't like banter." And that was like giving me a dick softening pill. Like, it was wild. I was like, oh my God. And that was only one of many several moments during that date, but that was the one where I was just like, oh no, I'm trapped very far away from my house with this woman. So, which I bring up to say, like, look, I'm not so hard up for sex that I'll just old anybody. But there's some people out there that look like Scarlett Johansson used to look. Like back when she was like peak Scarlett Johansson. And she shows up and she's just like, I've got some opinions on Israel. I'm just like, hush, baby, hush. Like, let's just talk about something else.
Yeah, let's talk about some sports ball. Boy, I mean, there's a game on the TV. Do you like baseball? I hate it, but whatever. And
she's like, I don't know which sporting team, which sports league has the Redskins in it. You're like, no, stop being so racist. Why are you a racist 10? There's our sitcom, Racist 10. Racist 10.
Not problematic at all.
That was like that episode of Andy Richter rules the universe, where he had to deal with the fact that his girlfriend was a raging anti-Semite.
Oh yeah, maybe I just heard her wrong.
Yes.
Thumb screws? Yeah, how about
Yes.
that reference, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Andy Richter controls the universe ref for our... Are there any elder millennials in the audience? Woo!
Odds are most.
Yeah, throw them up.
No way, man. We've got mad Generation Alpha or whatever listeners. They're like youth culture forever warriors out here. They're really here for the Turbo Teen references.
Yeah. Hey, Turbo Teen is trans, literally.
Wow, that's a hard take.
Trans Am.
Yes.
Wow,
exactly.
boom, nailed it. There we go. That's what we're here for.
God.
To me, breaking the backboard. Just
Oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's not pat ourselves on the back that much, buddy.
you let me have this one, god damn it.
If I've never been called out for breaking the backboard on the show, I don't think you get to be the first. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even give me that joke on credit that one time. I think I've heard
A
that.
joke.
I'm
You don't
still
get a
raw about
joke
that one.
on Reddit.
Oh man. Oh, this is just like that. Those questions had a photo. They had a GIF of Elon Musk in one of them. That just reminded me, like the last little thing. The DeSantis team released a video. It was like a 2.5 minute long video with no music, and it was only 53 seconds of video that they just looped like 2.5 times, and half of it was Elon and half of it was DeSantis, and it was like, is that the ticket? Is it DeSantis Musk 2024? What the fuck are they doing? Why is Elon so front and center of this thing? And by the way, he actually can't run for office because he's not a natural born citizen. That's right. I'm an Elon Musk birther, and I'm right because it's a thing that's real. He was born in Africa, which you Republicans are very mad about.
Whatever,
About
show me his
other
birth
people.
certificate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's from Johannesburg or whatever South African city. I only know one. So.
Yeah, Johannesburg, Florida, according to Mr. DeSantis.
Diplomatic community.
Oh God.
He's like, look, these Puerto Rican birth certificates here say that Elon Musk is technically an American.
Oh, that would be the greatest thing in the history of the world if the Republicans went reverse birther and got Elon Musk on the ticket.
That'd be great. Let's go. Fuck it. Whatever.
Yeah,
You know, we had a good run.
Yes, fuck it. Boom. Let's just throw America in the trash bin. Let's do this. Oh
Start
my
learning
God.
Chinese. It turns out the movie Looper was right.
Yes. So on that happy note, what are you guys looking forward to?
Ooh, I have an extended weekend of shenanigans. I mean, I'm not going to be doing much on Monday except for honoring our fallen soldiers and whatnot, whatever you're supposed to do on Memorial Day. Very reverent. But yeah, hot dogs. Is that what you said? Hot dogs?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to be doing hot dogs on Monday. Just, you know, every hole that can fit one, they're going in. But no, I've got some board games coming up. The new hotness board game Earth that people in the board game know have been talking about. I've played it a couple of times. We're getting together to play it again tomorrow. Earth is confirmed good if you like an engine building game. It goes by pretty quickly, even with 5 players. It should be pretty easy to get a game in under 90 minutes. So recommendation there for people who like board games. Earth, if you can find a copy, because it's very popular right now, is quite good. Then I've got Cookout on Sunday because I'm an American, so of course I do. And I am going to eat delicious Chinese sausages that have been soaked in aso and then put on the grill just for me. Well, technically for other people, but then everybody else is going to foolishly ignore them because they look sort of scary because they're beet red. And then I'm going to eat all of them. And I can't wait.
You're like, you suckers get the hamburgers. I get the good meat.
Yep. Hey, fuck them. I will eat my first one and I will leave the other ones there for the gentleman's 45. You got 45 minutes to eat your fill of those Chinese sausages. Afterwards, I'm going at them like a hurricane. Like, dude, the scorpions were talking about me. I'm attacking them.
I always thought that song was about you. So
Yeah, so for me, the fuck Memorial Day, whatever. The game Bolt Gun came out, and I'm having a whale of a time. It's a ton of fun. I got a bunch of stuff next week that I'm looking forward to, but I'll save it for next week.
So what is the game Bolt Gun about?
You are a single Ultramarine, and it is a Doom game.
Yeah, it's Doom, but Warhammer 40k Doom.
Yeah,
Aha!
it's Warhammer
Okay.
40k Doom. It just exactly
Which
which
sounds reductive, but like I don't want that to diminish how like if you were into those things, it looks like the perfect thing.
Oh, it is a ton of fun.
Yeah,
If
I just personally don't care about Doom, so I just wanted to specify in case I've ever brought that up on the podcast that this is not me shitting on Sarge's fun time. Like I'm not here to yuck his yum. Like from what I hear, if you like Doom and you like Warhammer 40k, this thing rules.
Yeah. Oh, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah. So I am not looking forward to the end of the Boston Celtics season, which should be soon, maybe tonight. By the time you hear this, they may be eliminated from the playoffs because they were absolute gutless, choking scum that lost the first game of this series before managing to win Game 4. And Vegas has way too much faith in them because no NBA team has ever come back from 3-0. And Vegas was like, if you want to bet the Celtics to win this series, we're offering you 7-1 odds. And I'm like, it's never happened before in the history of the NBA. 20-1 is like maybe where we can start talking about me putting a bet in on this shit because it's never happened. And Vegas is like 7-1. I'm like, no, hard pass.
One of my coworkers were saying that the Celtics were still an 8-point favorite tonight. Is that accurate?
Yes, they're
How's that possible? Their ass is completely battled.
I know I almost bet the Heat tonight because I couldn't even wrap my head around that number, but it was one of those things where I just looked at the number and I'm like, this is a trap. They have to be setting me up. I'm gonna like put the farm on Miami, and then I'm gonna turn the game on like 20 minutes in. Like Boston up 40-0. It's never happened before in the history of the NBA. And I'm gonna be like, you
surprise rules change, allowing chainsaws onto the court for the first time in NBA history, and the Celtics got word of it early.
Yes, exactly. Basket Blood Bowl, just no. So I don't understand any of that. But in the better news for me is because I did spend some time living out in Las Vegas, I get to root for the Golden Knights, who are already up 1-0 and will probably sweep their way into the Stanley Cup Finals so that we can have the Stanley Cup Finals all hockey purists have yearned for. Florida versus Vegas, two absolute hockey hotbeds.
Wahoo.
Yes, it's the dream. It's absolutely the dream. And shut up, Sarge. You don't have a hockey team. You have nothing. You have nothing but sadness and the best football team in the universe.
But cheering for St. Louis, and I'll be dead in my grave before I cheer for a St. Louis team.
Right, so you have nothing, as I said previously. I win this argument. Boom.
You know what was great when I lived out in Massachusetts for a long time. I was a Patriots fan. Then I moved out to the Kansas City area for a while. I was a Patriots fan, but I was like, well, since I'm in the area, I guess my second favorite team should be the Chiefs, right? And then I was in that transition when the Patriots decided to lay a huge fart and the Chiefs decided to become Academy, and I was like, nice, well done. Good stuff. And unfortunately, my friends from Kansas City will at some point periodically try to rub it in my face that the Patriots suck now, that the Chiefs are great. And I'm just like, yeah, go Chiefs. I mean, I was telling you, man, they're my second favorite team because I lived there for a while. Like,
right.
That's the way it works. Like, what am I going to root for the Falcons? Like, I lived in Georgia like 30 years ago, and I'd still rather die than root for the Falcons.
A wise decision.
Okay, well, on that scintillating note about sports, because Lord knows we all love sports, it is time for us to dribble the old pigskin and shoot the bucket right into the touch zone, our way out of HellwQrld for the week. So thank you so much for listening and supporting the show. If you'd like to support the show even harder, but still for free, you can do so by giving us a 5-star review or what have you. Whatever you do to tickle the algo at the behest of whatever service provides the podcast for you. If you have money and you want to donate it to us, we're like, damn, good stuff. Give us that money. And you can do so by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/pokerpolitics. Now, look, guys, we haven't produced any group bonus content in a while, and for that, I apologize. But there's still a robust back catalog of bonus content and all of Mike Rain's solo stuff. And plus, any other bonus content that we produce will be available. You get all that for $5 a month. Donating $5 or more per month gets you access to any bonus content that we have currently or any that comes out in the future. I mean, we've already got like 50 or 60 hours worth of content up there just with the boys. So if you need more of our dulcet tones and you haven't yet indulged in that content, go ahead and give it a spin. Or, hold on to your money. That's cool by us too. Or if you'd like to do some good with it, you can do so by visiting love146.org. They're an organization whose vision is the end of child trafficking and exploitation. Sounds pretty good to us. Thanks as always to DJ Minimal Effort for use of our intro song. Thank you to Frosty, our voiceover guy. You can find Frosty on social media, unlike DJ Minimal Effort, on Twitter, at least for the time being, at FrostyVO. Speaking of Twitter for the time being, you can find the show at HellwQrld with a Q instead of an O, myself at HellwQrldL, spelled the same way, Sarge is at Sergeant Hell, and Mike Rains is, of course, at Poker Politics. So, get at us on the social. Here's your call to action. Come make our moms think we're cool by engaging with us. Like, drive up our numbers. Let's become podcast millionaires. So for another successful episode of the Adventures of HellwQrld podcast, I have been one of your hosts, the mysterious L, joined as always and pretty consistently recently. So big hand for, Sarge for turning it around, but our enigmatic Sarge. And of course, our expert in all things QAnon crazy, Mr. Mike Rains. Good speed, Patriots!